Welcome back to episode 355 of the Guide and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guide guns and the responsible Christian gun owner's interest. I messed up on that like the last three shows. Uh, Christian gun owner's interest. This week's show, we'll be talking, asking questions. Do you feel like the days are foreboding? You feel a general malaise? Feel sort of out of touch or like Groundhog Day? Every day sort of seems the same thing. Is that something that's going on with you right now? Well, if it
Uh,
is, we'll be talking about that here in just a little bit. First of all, we want to thank our Patriots, our sponsors for Patriot Supply. If you've not checked out all the good, cool things over there at For Patriot Supply, please do go over there and use the coupon code FRN, get 10% discount. They have got everything. It's long-term storage food, stuff that you're going to be needing here soon. You know, things to keep you alive whenever the foreboding actually comes to fruition. So you need to go over and stock up on some stuff. They got all kinds of camping gear, generators. They've got solar generators. You got power outage. If you're like here in Kentucky, you have storms and damage, and the electric goes out for a couple, 3 days or a week at a time, and you need some power to keep your iPhone up so you can watch, or your phone up so you can watch our videos because you're bored sitting at the house and nothing to do. You need you a solar supply, a solar generator. Go over and check those guys out for Patriot Supply. They have a very cool different packs of food. They have like a 30-day meal pack. They got like a 60 and 90-day meal pack. They got like a 3-day emergency, like you just throw in the back of your car if you're traveling somewhere and you break down or something happens, you get hungry somewhere out on the road, or you're out camping, or you're out hunting, and you just need to make a quick meal. Heat up some water, drop it in there, stir it up, and a little bit you got yourself a good hot meal. So we want to thank you again for Patriot Supply. Bandwidth sponsor, of course, Farms Radio Network. If you've not checked out other shows on the Farms Radio Network, please do. There are a host of other shows out there that have been out there as long as we have, over 10 years. Some of those guys. Reloading podcast. We like shooting. I mean, just tons of shows out there. Four wheel off road. Just all kinds of shows. I can't keep up with them. There's so many shows up there. Go over and check them out and try out the other shows and tell them you heard about their show from our show. We would appreciate it. Patriot Patch Co. I have actually brought some patches down. I don't know if they were from February. Or I don't know where they're from, but I got a woman riding some kind of a machine gun. Looks like maybe a gun with a can on it or something. And get the patch, the sticker. This is the patch of the month club. It shows all the other patches. What month is that? October. That's last year, October. I just opened that package up. I apologize. I'm way behind the times. My son usually grabs them as soon as they come in and rips it open. I want it, or my daughter says she wants it, and then it's gone. So it never makes it to the bunker down here. But guys, go over and check out Patriot Patch Co. They got all kinds of cool stuff: gun rugs. They've got T-shirts, hats. They got, of course, all kinds of patches. They got some really cool, innovative patches. Go over and check them out. Jake has been sponsoring our show for the last few years, and we really appreciate that. And so go over there and give them a little bit of love if you got the funds to do it. All right, Doug. This been a while again. We sort of fall off the just go and disappear for a while. Just you like me. You're going one direction. I'm going another direction. It seems like we just don't ever don't ever get together when we need to. But what have you been up to all this time?
Life just seems to get in the way of everything, doesn't it?
Well, you got grandkids. I got grandkids. I still got kids at home. I had we had death in the family. I don't know if we were on whenever Charlie passed away. I don't know if you all heard my father-in-law passed away. We may have talked about it
Yeah.
before. Okay. But my father-in-law passed away, so my wife has been spending time with her mom, and the kids have been going spending time with her, trying to keep things up. So that's my excuse. I mean, I've got lots of other ones I'll get to in my time, but go ahead and jump in here. Don't want me to talk over you.
Well, let's see. So on the God side, of course, I've been doing Sportsman's Daily Devotional. Um, I've been uh, I've been hitting church on Sundays pretty regular. I don't think
Woohoo!
I've missed one lately. Um, On the gun side, of course, everyday carry. Man, it's been hot down here in Georgia.
You got
I
that right.
mean,
It's been hot in Kentucky.
but it finally did rain today, so that helped out just a little bit. And
Raise the humidity for you.
yeah, it well, it brought the temperature down, and the humidity didn't get too horrible bad, so it wasn't too bad. I did get to go pig. I've been pig hunting a couple times, not much. It's just been hot, man. You pop a ground blind up and get in there, it's like a sauna.
Oh
So
yeah.
I've been trying to stay out of it a little bit. I do have a couple. Well, I actually have three big pigs on camera that are coming in, different times, splitting it up between two different feeders. So I think my buddy Rick is coming down this weekend, and we're actually going to go put a dishwasher in for somebody, and we're going to do that, and then see if we can't put the smackdown on one. Hey, I did get drawn for an alligator tag this year. Woo!
Woo-hoo.
Finally, it's only been 6 years
Has it
since I
been
had
that
my
long?
last. It
I
has.
remember us talking about it here on the show. I mean,
Oh yeah.
we've been doing this
You
a
know,
long time.
I got to go last year. My buddy Joel and Charlie and Terry all got drawn. They put in as a group party, and they got drawn with five rejections, and I had five rejections, and I did not get one. So I did go hunt with them. We did not get one last year, but I got a tag this year, so hopefully we will. Hopefully we'll put a big 9 or 10 foot gator in the boat this year and see what we can do. And I got drawn out for Lake Seminole down in the corner of Georgia and Florida. So we will see. Maybe I'll get one this year. I've been doing a lot of ham radio stuff. I, having a radio in the office, man, is kind of nice. I come in here and mess around, and um, it works out quite nicely having it here. Um, let's see what else. I've been checking into Kentucky nets too. I stay on
Yeah.
those quite a bit, and it's a lot of fun. Um, hey, if you have not had the opportunity, Wendy and I went and saw the movie Sound of Freedom. Actually, the day before it came out down here, and man, it, it was tough to watch, but it is an excellent movie. And I think everybody should go see it. So if you have not, go check that out. Um, Also, Wendy and I just celebrated our 30-year anniversary the other day. So happy anniversary to us, and it is it's nice being married to your best friend, and we have uh, we have had a lot of excitement over the years, last 30 years. So it has been quite the ride. I'm ready for the next 30. I'm going to
Good
have to
deal.
refresh my screen here because for some reason Edge has decided to freeze up on me on StreamYard. So I don't know if it's going to cut me off or not, but
You're
I
lagging
got
quite a bit.
I know I can't figure out what's going on.
Okay. Well, while he's refreshing there, let me go ahead and give my comments about what I've been up to. Of course, y'all heard my father-in-law passed away. He'd had a fall, and it done a lot of damage to his kidneys. They think he had a heart attack during that fall, and so he was in the hospital for a little over a week. My wife stayed with him like every night through the night and talked to the doctors and things, and slept during the day, so he would have someone with him. And then the night she came home and spent the night, he passed away. So y'all pray for my wife. She's still dealing with and my children, and of course myself. We're dealing with the loss of Charlie. He was a great guy, a great father-in-law, very gracious man, and taught me a lot, told me a lot of things, and was kind enough to give his daughter's hand in marriage to me. So I will always be grateful for that, and pray for her mom. Looks like Doug's coming back in. Let me pop him back on the screen here. I get my mouse to work. There he is.
Let's see if that's a little better.
Oh, that's a whole lot better.
I got rid of Edge and put it in Chrome, so
There you go.
maybe
Yeah,
that'll.
Chrome works best with this software. I was just telling him about Charlie, and were you finished with your stuff?
Yep, yep.
So that's taking up time. I've had re-injured my foot. Well, I actually injured my neck and my hip. Um, Doing too much, probably. I was climbing in and out of tractors, and I was up carrying stuff and working on houses and on the farm and hooking up equipment, trailers, and all that stuff. And all of a sudden, my foot started killing me and swelled up and got ugly. And I was pretty much by myself. I mean, my son was here, but my wife and daughter were gone. So I was sort of one man show there for a couple weeks while they went down to Florida, took her mom just to get away and spend some time together. Um, so I messed my foot back up again, and I think it was actually my neck and or my hip was out, and it was pressing the sciatic nerve. Runs down your leg, it runs down to that ankle that's been a problem, and gave me a scare.
Mm.
uh, as much as I've worked to get this recovery, and then it to go back, it go into pain, which I hadn't had before, and I kept thinking it was related to the foot, but I think it was actually related to my neck, my low back. And so I went to chiropractor several times a week, and I had quit taking Zija when I started that fast, and because it has a little bit of sugar in it, it's got like 30 calories in it. I went back on the Zija, and 3 days into taking the Zija, that pain went away and the swelling went away, and I've not been in pain since. So I think it was just had a lot of inflammation from just overusing my foot and my back and my neck that I hadn't. If you guys know the whole history, I pretty much couldn't do anything for the first 3 months. I'd had this foot problem. I pretty much had to sit in a chair. That's not good for you. But all
Right.
I could do is do overhead work. I did any kind of overhead upper body stuff. I couldn't do anything lower body except for use one leg, or I could lay on the floor and do leg exercises. But when I started working full days, 10-hour days and stuff, and started doing stuff, then that's when it got all screwed up. And so I got to remember, I turned since the last time we were on here, I turned 57. I think I don't think I had my birthday since we've been on, but turned 57 and feeling old now, like Doug. And Doug's 57 for a little bit longer, I think.
Just a couple more months.
A couple more months. I caught you again. Um, so I got all kinds of excuses, but there really isn't any excuses. Just I've got a busy life. I've got lots of rental properties I take care of, and farm, and 3 kids still at home, 2 grandkids, and I don't spend enough time with grandkids. I got to start doing more of that. Just this immobility thing with my foot has really just slowed me down. So y'all pray for me to get my priorities straight, get things straightened out. Daily Bible reading. Of course, I've been reading the Bible, going to church. I've been serving on the security team. It hasn't prevented me from serving my days on security. It's different because I don't serve every single Sunday now. I mean, I'm always on security, right? So I'm always carrying. I'm always watching, see for problems. But we have like 5 guys at any given time at the exits and stuff of our church, and we've got a team of about 30 guys. It's awesome. We rotate. I only have to serve like every 6 weeks as full time, and that's great. My grandson Braden, he got saved week
Oh,
before last, and he is getting baptized tomorrow. So we're going to go
outstanding.
celebrate that. Yeah, we're going to go celebrate that at my son and daughter-in-law's church with them, and Dwayne Gibson's church. I don't know if you remember Dwayne Gibson or not. He's a little bit younger than you, younger than me
Mm,
too. He's probably a freshman or eighth grader when you were a senior. He played
mm,
football, and then he's got like 4, 5 brothers. You know Tim Gibson, right?
Tim Gibson.
He's older than us. He's got a whole bunch of brothers here in the area, so I thought you might remember him or his family. He's from over in Buffalo area. EDC, I've been carrying the my new Sig Sauer, and Crossbreed has sent me a brand new holster. Got that in yesterday, or no, day before yesterday. I wore it last 2 days, and I love it. This is the mini tuck. So you all have never seen the mini tuck. This thing just disappears on me and disappears on most people, and it's set up for the Sig with the Romeo mounted on it, 365 XL. And I love it. It just is slim and small, and yet still got 13 rounds in it. It just disappears under my hand and in my clothing. I wear it with shorts, and it's just lightweight. Love it. I keep the extended mags, the 365 15 round mags as my spare. So I've got what 28 rounds there. I can't hit with 28 rounds. I've got a bad day. So, but
You got the XL, right?
yeah, I got the XL. Yeah, I mean the XL. I mean I tried the standard one, and it's just what 10 rounds or something, eight
Hmm.
10 rounds. That XL, I mean it just disappears in my hand. It's little bitty. Even if you got big hands, it's no big deal. But it doesn't stick. Yeah, the way that the mini tuck is set up, it just tucks in and it's secure and it's right there, right where I usually carry my XR 920. They also sent me a new Super Tuck. So this is the Super Tuck
Oh yeah.
with the Shadow Systems XR 920, which is the same thing pretty much as a Glock 19X. And I've got the Surefire XC1 light on it. I think the XC2 is the same dimensions and stuff, but it's just enough light. Now, of course, I've got a red dot on that one as well because old eyes like red dots. It takes a little bit of training if you're an old dog like us. That
Yep.
you
It
gotta
does.
you gotta get used to using that red dot. But it's just a matter of repetition, drawing, and finding that dot, coming up, finding that dot, getting on target. Um, it's all practice, guys. Go get trained and then practice, practice, practice. Every day when I put it on, do 10 dry fire draws from the holster with whatever I'm wearing. And then every night before I go to bed, I do just 10 dry fire drills. Drop the mag, clear the chamber, and then do my dry fire practice. It's all about muscle memory. It's all about just being smooth as fast as the Eric will tell you at Bulwarks. If you go take training at Bulwarks, of course, a lot of other instructors are the same way. Farm corn and beans are growing like crazy. I've seen double ears on a lot of the corn stalks. I saw 3 ears on one stock. One stock that's really good. It's going to be a really bunker crop this year. Cattle are doing great. Getting big and fat. They have more hay and they have more grass they can eat. I think we put up 600 bales of hay. We got 600 bales of hay going in the barn. So we got hay in the barn, and I'm going to cut some more hay to put for rolls just to keep out there for them throughout the day, throughout the all the time, and then feed them the good stuff when the weather gets bad, or just to supplement it when the grass starts dying out. Uh, Need to do some bush hogging. Things have gotten grown up again. I'm just trying to get caught back up on my stuff. Net control. I've been running net control for Central Kentucky Amateur Radio Club on the Monday night nets here. We have a. If you guys want to check out Monday nights, we have a Echo Link or All Star Link, and it comes through N1DTA-R. N1D is in Delta, T is in Tom, and A is in Alpha. Uh, dash R on Monday nights at 9:30 Eastern. Um, and I've been guest hosting some for William for on the KY4X Fusion Net. That's on Tuesday nights. Everyone except for the third Tuesday, which is our business meeting, our monthly meeting, and that is at 8 o'clock Eastern. Yep, that's right, 8 o'clock Eastern. Um, and we take early check-ins like a half an hour before that. And William usually does it, but I've been doing it lately. I In the meantime, some of you guys that follow on Facebook and some of the social media know that I bought a Humvee. It's an old
Yeah, you
military.
did.
Yeah, it's an old one, but it runs good, and it's got the 6.5. It doesn't have the turbo in it, and it's just I was trying to buy a new side by side because mine's just not enough. It's I don't know. There's something wrong with it. I use it just to go over check cows, check fences, stuff like that, and you go to pull a trailer in that variable belt drive transmission. Just I don't think it's strong enough to be pulling the trailers of like firewood and chainsaws and all that stuff around with me. So I could buy this thing for like half the price of a new side by side, and I don't like any side by sides. I think if I was going to buy a side by side, I'd probably get the Kubota because it actually has gears in it as opposed to these belt drive systems. Most of these side by sides have. Whole nother matter. I did pick up one of the net guys at Central Kentucky made a trade with me, and I ended up picking up a Yaesu 891. to put a HF rig in my Humvee, and so I have yet to get that installed. I just got it Thursday night, so um, it's been it's been blistering hot. So as soon as I get that up and going, I've been looking for a military whip, and I think I could probably tune it. I've been trying to research all the different types of HF antennas that the 998s came with, and I found one, but they want like $350 for the base tunable base on it, and then the whip is like another $150. That's just too much money. For that money, I could go out and buy the Yaesu ATOS system and put it on there, which automatically tunes to the frequency and all that. I mean, the military whip looks cool, but I haven't found one. I've looked eBay everywhere, military surplus stores everywhere. You find them all different prices, all different conditions, and half of them say they don't work or they're uh, got problems with them and stuff. And it's like, I'm not going to throw that kind of money down on maybe they will work. So I'm still researching antennas. I got a couple antennas that are like the signal stick antennas for you ham guys. You guys aren't ham, just like eyes are rolling back in your head and you went to sleep. Sorry about that. But I've been doing that. I did take the FTM 300 that was in the that I had in my blue truck, and I put it into the Humvee, and it works like a charm. The If you know about Humvees, they have an antenna mount plate on the back, each corner, the back of the rig, and so I've got one set up on the right side, and I've got another mount coming. A guy that I was doing some trading with had one laying around. He's just going to ship it to me for free. That was awesome. I think they got running around like $35 or something. But I took a steel plate and I cut it and I drilled holes in it and modified it and made a base out of it for my I got a 7/8 wave 2 meter 440 antenna, and it works like a charm. It doesn't have any noise. It's clean. Gunner helped run all the cable, all the antenna wire back up through the chassis, all the way back up the front. Wire tied it, put it in the cable protector. My son is a perfectionist, and I love his work. He goes through and I mean, he trims every wire tie, and I mean, he could be a professional installer of electronic equipment. He just is that detailed. But he did a great job wiring that up, and we got wired into the battery box and stuff. I got a 12-volt inverter came with it, so it takes a 24-volt power, drops it down to 12 volts, and then I got a distribution box built into a radio desk. If you know Humvees, they have a radio desk in the front middle console, that big area there, and it came with a radio desk, and the guy put in a like a mortar tube ammo can and used that for the install box for like a FM radio. And so I just put all my guts and stuff in there, mounted the other radio underneath, run the wires into it, put grommets in it, and it looks professional. It looks really good, and it works really good. So I'm excited about it. I'm having fun with it, except for the days when it's 95 to 100 degrees, like it's been the last 2 to 3 days, and I just didn't drive it then. I'm just not that hard. But uh, I'm having fun with it. It's a something to another project. I just need another project. You know how it goes.
You just needed one more thing.
I just need one more thing. I already talked about my EDCs. You want to talk about yours?
Oh yeah. So I got the baby version of the one you're carrying.
Oh,
Still got the same amount of
you got the
watt.
mama version. There's a smaller one in there.
This is the baby. This is the
Oh, that's the
baby one.
smallest one.
Yep. This is the Sig 365. I also have a Romeo. I have a Romeo Zero on this one.
Yep.
Red dot, and I like it. It is a 10 round magazine, but I actually have a 12 round extended mag in it, so it fits my hand a little bit better.
So
The
it's like
10
an
rounds good,
XL.
huh?
That's the same length as the XL.
That's a little. This one's actually a little shorter than yours
Oh,
on on the barrel length. It's a little
oh,
bit smaller.
okay.
But I'll tell you what, when I was up at little brother's house, I was shooting, and there was no noticeable kick to it. I mean, it just handles
Yeah.
really smooth.
It's got a low bore axis. That barrel sits down low.
Hmm.
That's one of the good things. Most of the SIGs have a high barrel axis, but these new 365s, man, they're low.
I like it. It's I carry it pretty much all the time. I do need to get me a mini tuck for it. Um, I got to get a hold of the guys down at Crossbreed and get one because I got a little paddle holster that I carry because sometimes I can't carry at work.
Mhm.
So when I get out of the truck, I have to take it off. So it's just sometimes it's just easier with a little paddle holster just to take it off and be done with it and lock it up in the glove box and or the console or wherever. And but if I had a mini tuck, it would make it a lot nicer for you know any other time, every other time when I'm
Yeah.
walking around doing something. It just makes it nicer.
Oh yeah, it's
So
just really secure. You just don't ever worry about coming out or coming off the belt or anything. Yeah, I really like the mini tucks and I like the super tuck. For the bigger guns.
I did actually find a little paddle holster for it when I was looking for one. I had a little in the waistband Kydex holster, and that thing, oh my goodness, it digs into your side, and it's just almost not even fun to carry it. So I had to get rid of that thing, and I bought this little paddle holster, and once I got it, it works real nice, and it's leather. It's Kydex. It's a Kydex paddle, and it's leather on the outside, so it holds real nice too. But it's not like a crossbreed.
Good deal. All right. What have you got for us as far as you got a joke for us? I didn't have any feedback. Did you?
I did not. We haven't had an iTunes review in forever,
Yeah.
so
We need some good ones.
yeah.
No Canadians. No.
No, can, no Canadians.
No
Well,
Canadians that don't appreciate a woman climbing into a bucket of a bobcat at 10 o'clock at night with flip flops with a
I was gonna say
chainsaw.
you haven't had Chris in a bobcat bucket in quite
She
some
ain't
time.
been in a bobcat bucket with a chainsaw, flip flops, and shorts in a long time. I
Yep.
think that was a one time she was.
So I do have a joke for us. I'm not sure. I don't think I've told this one because I laughed when I read it and I was like, oh, that might be a good one. So a middle-aged woman had a heart attack and was taken to the hospital. While on the operating table, she had a near-death experience. During the experience, she sees God and asks him, "Is this it?" God says no, and explained to her that she has another 30 years to live. Upon her recovery, she decided to just stay in the hospital, have a facelift, liposuction, tummy tuck, and so on. She, she even has someone come in and change her hair color. She figures since she's getting another 30 years, she might as well make the most of it. She walks out of the hospital after all the operations and is killed by an ambulance speeding by. She arrives in front of God and explains, "I thought you said I had another 30 years." God replies back, "I didn't recognize you."
Yeah, we've had that joke before.
Have we?
About 4 years ago, I
Oh,
think.
wow. We got new listeners since
Yeah,
then.
yeah.
It'll
We
be
got
their
old.
first
We got old listeners. Maybe they've forgotten. It's a good joke though. I like
It,
it.
it is a good one.
It's a oldie but goodie.
That there was a comedian used to be on TV. He said his name's Stephen Wright. He's just like little one liners. He said he loaned a friend of his $5,000 for plastic surgery. Now he don't know what he looks like.
Yeah, I like him. I've heard him before. There was another one. There's like a dry comedy bar channel on one of the things.
Yeah.
Um, and it's pretty much clean jokes. It's not anything dirty, foul, disgusting. So every once in a while, I'll catch one of those on there. There's some pretty good comedians on there. All right, so you got history too.
I
You
do. On this,
overachiever.
I'm overachieving tonight. We got a lot of catching up to do. On this day in history, criticized for allowing the Soviet Union to launch the first man-made satellite to orbit Earth, Sputnik 1, on October 4th, 1957, U.S. President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed legislation on this day in 1958 that created NASA.
Well,
I
how
thought
about that?
I thought that was kind of interesting.
And what does NASA stand for?
Uh, National Aeronautic Space Association.
something like that. I've been to where is it in Florida? Cape Canaveral. I've been there. Dad took me there when I was, I don't know. We used to go to Daytona, which isn't too far from there. And every year we go to Daytona, he'd take me down there. We go look at the rockets and the space shuttle and all that stuff. And I didn't know this until I was older. Uh, when when I was young, like, I don't know, when was it they did the space shuttle at like 3 years old? I think when they landed on the moon and maybe landed on the moon. There's a lot of controversy about that. There's a lot of controversy there. I don't know. But I do know that my dad worked for a company called Tube Turns while he worked as a machinist and a draftsman as he was going to school at U of L. While I was a little kid and my brother was on the way to being born, he worked for a company called Tube Turns downtown Louisville, and they had a contract with I forget which company it was with, but one of the suppliers for NASA's rocket program. And he actually machined the um, cones for the rocket boosters on the lunar lander.
Oh
And
yeah.
Dad actually hand machined those out to spec. They had to be within certain, I mean, it was like 6 numbers out spec of how tight these tolerances had to be. He was sworn to secrecy about it until the lunar lander project was over with. And then he told my mom and he told a couple of guys he worked with, but he didn't tell me. I didn't know as a kid. I found out, uh, I guess 3 or 4 years ago. He was talking about stuff he'd worked on, things like that. And we sitting and talking. And he goes, "Yeah, that was a fun project." He said, "Boy, the tolerances were tight on there." He said, they were making them out of titanium and stuff, and they were using really exotic metals for the time to be able to handle all the heat, from these rockets. And he was explaining about how he had to make it and how he couldn't talk about it and how they had to destroy all the documents or pack them up and send them back or whatever because it was all top secret stuff. He said it was a really fun project. And then, but he was going to speed school at U of L for engineering. And he was working nights at Tube Turns as a machinist. And so it was interesting to hear that story. Well, that brings me down to the Bible verse of the week. We're going to be coming to you from Matthew. Let me see if I can pull this up if I remember how to do it. Boop. There it is. Matthew 16. And I posted this, I guess it was on Instagram. I thought I'd put it on Facebook, but I must have just put it on Instagram. But so Jesus here in the red says, the Pharisees and Sadducees came to him and asked him to show them again a sign from heaven. He answered them, "When is it evening when you say it will be fair weather, for the sky is red? And in the morning it will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. An evil and adulterous generation seeks for a sign, but no sign will be given except the sign of Jonah." And so he left them and departed. And it's sort of an obscure verse, It's not something that you hear preached from very often. But what brings me to this Bible verse is the topic for tonight. We're talking about um, the way the world is right now. And everyone I've talked to, my wife has talked to me about it. My kids have sort of got this. Friends that I've talked to, everybody's sort of in this sense that something bad's about to happen. I don't know if you feel that, Doug, but it just seems like things are not right. Things are going the wrong direction. The world's upside down. It feels like there's no justice. It feels like that the wicked are prospering and the good people are being persecuted. And for most part, that's where we're at. And so God, through Jesus here in this verse, he's talking about how that there are certain things that are signs that the times are coming. When is it that Jesus will return? Well, he gives us clues about lots of things about when he's going to return. And I'm not prophesying about when Jesus is returning. I don't have a date. I'm not putting a date down. I'm saying that things will continue. Just he says, like the woman who's pregnant, as she gets closer and closer to giving birth, the more the pangs, the more the pain, right? The more the birth pangs, the more the body's getting ready for this new thing to happen. And the earth is doing that, and people and community all are feeling that things are wrong, that the wicked are prospering, that the wicked are being exalted, that the evil are being exalted, and the godly are being attacked and being persecuted. And as we see persecution increase more and more, we know that those are the signs that Jesus talks about here. So he's telling these, the Sadducees and the Pharisees were all, the scribes, right? They're the ones that knew the scriptures forwards and backwards. They memorized them. They wrote them down and things like that. Well, they would keep every part of the law, right? And so they were looking for some way that they could trip him up, trying to find some way they could trip him up. So they were wanting him to say things, so he would say something that they could call a abomination or heresy, so they could have a reason to kill him. They were always trying to set a trap for him. But he said, you can see, that you have the ability to see, at night when the skies are red at night, that it's a good night, right? It's going to be a good night for a sailor, because if you're sailing and the seas are red at night, that means that it's going to be fair winds and nice weather. But in the morning, if you see red skies in the morning, that's a sign of approaching storm, right? You're getting ready to have a bad time. And he said, that, I mean, it's built within us to know that there's something wrong. There are things that are not right, and we know that we're starting to feel persecution. We're just starting to, people in other countries have been being killed for the last century for their belief, for their faith in Jesus. And as we're starting to see it here in this nation, we have to remember that these are the signs that he's talking about. These are the signs that as we are getting closer and closer, and it could be another 100 years. I don't know. I'm not taking a stand on that. But I know that I have tried to identify what is it that's causing me this foreboding and this malaise, and I believe that it's all, we're just so plugged into all this social media. We're plugged into all the news, 24-hour news cycle. We're plugged into um, instant information. These phones are just continuously giving us information at our fingertips. We think about something, boom, we're researching it, right? We're not getting always what we're looking for. We get other things with it, right? And propaganda has been around thousands of years, right? There was propaganda used in biblical times to trick people into thinking something was happening when it wasn't, or something when it's happening when it was. And so propaganda is a tool, right? It's a tool of those in power or those who seek power to try to change what your perspective is, or what you think is, because we know that no way in the world that Joe Biden got 81 million votes, but but that it's not possible. The man never left the basement, and we know that. But let's keep the political aside. That was just a joke, more or less.
Sort of.
Real but joke. But but you know that there's things when you talk to your friends and your neighbors, which we hardly do anymore. Most of the time we're just posting stuff on social media, and we're getting responses and likes and little emojis and stuff like that. And that's a drug, right? So having that kind of instant feedback, having that ability to have an audience, it's like we're all broadcasters, like we're all out there for fame. And so that is what causes, I believe, a lot of the depression, because you got kids that are trying to compete with other kids for attention and fame, and they're doing it through social media, and they can be isolated by their friends. They can be isolated by the algorithms of these programs. And I think a lot of this stuff, and I think that a reason that I sometimes feel anxiety is that the feed a lot of time is just, you'll see a trend in the feed. all of a sudden you'll start seeing, like lately, they've been sending me all these police beating up people videos. I don't know about your feed, but my feed, I'm getting all these videos of police attacking and beating up citizens, and they're pulling them over because they ask you a question or something. I'm like, why am I getting all this stuff? And I'm like, let's see less this, see less this, see less. And it's like it just pushes these agendas that you put as waves of things over you to try to and make you feel a certain way, to push you in a direction, to try to control you. It's like electronic gates, right? It
Hmm.
lets you into this. Okay, you can go into this area, and we'll let your friends that are like-minded in that thing, they'll come in here and they'll be with you. But your friends that are over here and have this kind of thought and process, we're going, and they're just isolating us. They're putting us in little pockets and they're separating us out and they're putting us in echo chambers with people who think like us, instead of putting us with people that need to hear our thoughts and we need to hear their thoughts, and so that we can have a real understanding of the real world. Because what happens is, I keep saying people are just wound tight. The reason they're wound tight is because they're just keep getting fed more and more of what it is they're looking at and what they're feeding on, and they're digging deeper and deeper into it, and it causes hostility towards other people. It causes hostility towards your friends and your family. We see family that get in horrible fights over political things, and horrible fights over ideology, religion, all these things. Whereas if you're in person, face to face with them, like texting is just like two-dimensional, right? It's just words and reply words. It's no emotion in it. You can't feel, you can't
Uh-uh.
sense the person's. And so you read it and it reads like that like they are mad at you. And you're like, why are they mad at me? Well, it's just words. If you don't have the intonation of the voice, you don't have the expressions on the face, you don't have the hand motions, we're going to have to step away from this stuff, guys.
Take it out
Uh,
of context.
it's taken out of context, and I've been guilty of that. I've had texts with renters and things, and they've said things that like, well, here I am bending over backwards for you, and you're just not grateful at that at all, and you're just blunt and rude. Well, it's just that they don't type much and they use few words, and my understanding of the word is different than their understanding of the word. That one generation sees a word this way and uses it in this context, and another generation uses it in that context. If you're face to face, you can pick up on that, right? You can pick up on what their intention is. If they're smiling when they're saying it to you, they're not really meaning hateful, unless you're just psychotic. But you know, we're going to have to. I think that we need to get away from this social media, and a lot of our show is built on social media. Is built upon being able to get the information out there, but it's filtered. I mean, we had
Oh
a
yeah.
whole lot bigger following, and they just shut us off. They get rid of our listeners. If they think that our listeners are being somehow given something that they don't like, then they'll just turn it off, mute us, and push it to the side. So this is an avenue, but it doesn't get to many places. And so, if you guys are trying to contact me on social media, I'm going to be going a little bit dark. I'm going to have my email address there. If you guys want to send me a email, I'll probably reply. But I'm going to try to start filtering this out and see how that changes my feelings and my outlook on life and things like that. And I'm just going to invest more time with my family, my neighbors, my church, and I encourage everyone to sort of step back from the social media, because we know it's mind control. And even the people that designed it say they don't let their kids do it because it's used to try to sell products, gather information so they can more effectively sell you products. And it's used by the government. We know the government is
Hmm.
using it for propaganda. It came out that Facebook was pressured to shut down any kind of thing that was negative against getting that shot. All that stuff was shut down. Everything about Hunter Biden. We know that now that Facebook was forced to pretty much block all of that information stuff. So we know it's a control mechanism. So knowing that, we should probably take a lot of what we see on social media with a grain of salt. And today, I've tried to stay off of it. I've been out just a little bit, like to wish my friends happy birthday that I don't get to see very often. That's about extending what I do. Every once, I'll take pictures of stuff and just post it up there. This is what I saw today, kind of thing. But that feedback. If we don't get that feedback, it depresses us. Because you'll go and you'll make a post. I know you've done, Doug. You'll make a post about something you thought was really important, and you'll have one like.
Yep.
And why is it? It's because they've turned it off. I posted something today with a picture, and before I even went back, there was a comment, and I posted an actual article from back in the 70s that supported my statement. Well, they took the picture down and let you see it within less than 3 minutes.
Oh yeah.
It's just that detailed. So anything that shows something outside of what whoever's in control, whoever's pulling the levers, doesn't like, they turn it off, they filter it out, they don't let people see it, they put you in a hole. And so that has an effect on your emotion, right? You think that, oh, nobody cares or thinks like I think. Why don't they think this is important? Well, they probably do. They just don't see it. And so, when we put our show out there, we were, for a long time there, we were just growing like this and going up. And we had all those other channels and Chrome TV and all those other platforms and stuff. And when they just shut us off, it was just sort of disheartening, like, why we even do it? We're getting out to 12 people or whatever, wherever it's letting you see. Because actually, I'll hear more from people. Oh, I saw your show. I'm like, I know who all was on. I'm like, you saw my show, but it doesn't show that we actually had that many listeners.
Mm-hmm.
But you go to like a podcast and you see thousands and thousands more people on the podcast disproportionately to what YouTube shows you, or I think Rumble's more accurate, but it's just getting started. It's just getting its feet under it. People don't want to pay for something. If they get something for free, it is. They don't want to pay for something. So I'm just going to start, shutting down all these social things. I mean, you can still get a hold of me and contact us through Troy at God Guns Podcast and Doug at God Guns Podcast. But I'm just my friends and stuff. I'm going to put my personal email address out there. So if you want to get a hold of me, if you got some event you want me to come to, something like that, just start sending it there, because I'm just going to put up a post. Hey, I'm not going to be on here. If you want to get in touch with me, here's how you get in touch with me. Because I think that it's important that we meet face to face. And I noticed that, and we had a ham meeting Thursday night. We had one last week. The other one I wasn't able to go. We had one Thursday night, and so when we get together, we were friends on Facebook with this ham group, and we share different articles and we talk about different things. But when you get in face to face to the person, it's a whole different thing, right? You convey so much more in that period of time. You find out more about the person, you find out about their family, you find out what's going on with themselves. You don't get the presentation, right? You don't get the edited, approved, air touched photos. You get the raw person, warts and all, right? You get to see them as they are. You get to hear them in their voice. You get to have a two-way communication. So go out and spend time with your family. Go out and spend time with your friends. I'm guilty.
Troy, can you hear me? I'm not hearing you at all. There you are.
Okay. I hit my button somehow. How much did you lose on me?
About 30 seconds worth.
Oh, I'm just saying. I think that social media is destroying relationships, and with family and friends, because you will say something online that you would never say in person. You will just be rude, and you'll get offended by things, and you're taking maybe those things out of context. And so I encourage you, for personal conversations and things like that, stop texting. Go talk to them. Call them up on the phone. That's better than texting. If you find out how people are doing, call them up on the phone. I admit I'm the worst about calling people. I'm quick to text somebody something because I just want to send it and forget it. Just launch it and go on, because I just want to I don't want to take the time because I'm so busy. What looking at social media or trying to post pictures or trying to create content. Go ahead, Doug.
No, I'm agreeing with you. I get on. I post pictures of stuff I cook. I post a little bit of political stuff, but I don't look at a whole lot of other junk that people put out there.
Right.
I just I don't know. I just don't pay that much attention to it.
I hardly ever go down my feed. I'm usually posting things, and so I'm always shooting and not listening. And so, um, but it takes a lot of productivity away too. I mean, things that you should be able to get done. The amount of work that I used to be able to do when I was younger, didn't have social media, was vastly more than what I get done uh, these days with the social media. And so I apologize, the family, like, I need to spend more time with you. And I told my wife last night, I need to spend more time with the grandkids. I need to spend more time with my children and talk to them because, that is important for your children to have conversations with you, to ask questions. And if you're just sending them cat memes and stuff and funny videos, you're not really having a conversation with them, right? You just feed them drivel. So, again, I'm the worst at it. I'm admitting my guilt, my sin, but I encourage you guys that if you're feeling that despair, you feeling that hopelessness, you feeling like you're just in a loop in a circle doing the same thing over and over again, get plugged into your family again. Put the phones down, turn the TVs off, turn off the computers, and go out and I should have went out with my family tonight, but I already put this out there. The wife wanted to go for a drive tonight in the Humvee, and I'm like, well, I got to get the show set up, and I had everything tore apart, and so I said, well, take Gunner and y'all go for a ride, and we'll go again another time. It's just important that we put our family and our friends first, and we're plugging in. I think the era of COVID really increased that, where we isolated ourselves so much from each other because, first of all, you couldn't go anywhere because everything was closed or you wasn't allowed to meet and all this garbage. And then we just sort of got comfortable sitting at home watching church on TV. And I encourage you to get back into your churches. Turn the TVs off. And the TVs are great if you're in your bed bound, you're sick or something. It's great that you can watch it. Go and be with your fellow believers. Go and be with your family. Go and spend time because life is short. I'm telling you, things happen quickly, and you won't ever regret spending time with family one on one. When you come in and meet together, just put your phones in a basket and sit down and my wife's probably rolling her eyes because I am the worst, but God just sort of like impressed me. You need to just turn all this stuff off. You need to be in the scripture. You need to be with your family and friends. I took our neighbor Lloyd over. We went to the ham meeting together. It was good just having a conversation, talking about things, and getting him plugged in with the ham group. He's studying for his ham test, so hopefully he'll get his license here soon. And what's good about ham radio is that you're talking to other people from all over the world. If you get on digital or you get on HF, you can talk to people all over the world. And you find out what's going on, and what you see on TV is not really what's happening in the world. I can tell you, I've got friends, and I've got people from all over Europe, and I've got missionaries in South America, and what is going on there is not what the news says. And what they're telling me, like, we think you're all crazy over here because what they're hearing on the news is like we're all psychotic, which may look that way from a distance. But when you talk to them, you realize you're all alike. You all want the same things. You want the best for your family. You want to try to have a good income and good health, and you want to have good relationships. And but what happens is these social media things, they filter it, right. They take out the things that will make you a human, and they're turning you into automatons, right, that you're reacting like Pavlovian's dog, that your mouth starts watering every time someone hits a like or a love or gives you a thumbs up or whatever. You need to get out of that system. because it's a control mechanism. And you guys hold me accountable. You see me on Facebook, say, get off Facebook, go hang out with your family, and get off TV and get off of YouTube and get off all these things. And I know I'm sort of just saying they're always go away, but I'm not really. I hope you guys find value in this. I hope that we are presenting something worthy of your time. But I think if you're finding yourself depressed, I think it's probably that you need to reconnect and have relationships, and go have lunch with your friend. Call them and say, hey, let's go have lunch somewhere, or let's go eat ice cream cone or whatever. Not if you're diabetic, but let's go and have a cup of coffee or whatever. And I think that will help us mentally. And I know it will help us mentally, that we'll be able to have relationships again. Because what we've got now is artificial, and it's controlled and contrived. And so if you're feeling depressed, you need to turn off this stuff, because it's all designed to manipulate you, and not in a good way, and not in a good way at all. So that was my thing about the topic tonight. I think I rambled on a long time there, Doug. Let me close the cap on it. You got anything else you want to plug in on?
No, when you was talking about um, nonsense that pops up on your phone, if you think your phone's not listening to you,
Oh gosh,
you're crazy,
yeah. Even if you
because
turn off all those things, it's still listening to you.
because it does.
It looks at your eyes and sees what you're looking at on the actual screen.
Yep.
So if you're looking at something on the screen, it's looking at what are you looking at, and so wherever you look at and focus on, you're going to get more of that. That's how much it's monitoring you. So
Hmm.
if you're walking around in your bathroom buck naked, while you're getting ready, looking at your social media, something's watching you. Something's watching you. You might want to think about that. I've got this thing on my phone where it covers the camera up, but the microphone's still on, right? So
Right.
so it's still listening to what you're saying. So when it listens to your conversations, says, "Oh, they're talking about a new car. Well, we're talking about buying a new car, with a blue car." All of a sudden, all your feeds full of blue cars, or blue Hondas, or blue Toyotas, or whatever it is that you're talking about, and it's designed to sell you more stuff. It's designed to keep making you do things, purchase things, buy things, and it also is used to propaganda. So you'll see all these things pop up in your feeds that are not what you would normally think about, and it'll give you information. And a lot of these, some of these things that pop up, it's like these talking heads. I don't know who these people are. I don't know who they are from Adam, but they look like they have this big following. Like, I've never heard this person before, but it's like they have this humongous following, and you feel like, is this someone important? You try to find out who they are. They just sort of like a popped up out of nowhere. Well,
Right.
I'd say there's some kind of a propaganda person, right? They're just reading a script, and they're trying to push people into their different concentration of camp type mental thing. So they're compartmentalizing you, they're isolating you, and they're making you depressed, which makes you eat more, which makes you buy things to try to make yourself happy, and makes you take more drugs to try to get over your depression, makes you all these things about control, guys. It is really evil when you sit down and think about it. And I've fallen prey to it, and it's going to be hard. It's going to be like getting off of a drug. It's going to have withdrawal, just like getting off of sugar, or getting off of your favorite whatever it is. You're going to have a withdrawal from it, but you're going to have to focus on what's more important. Your relationships, your mental health, your physical health. I mean, they've done proven that they can cause your blood pressure to rise. They can cause your heart rate to get out of control and stuff. They can cause you to get depressed. And we see teenagers committing suicide. We see teenagers that are just destroying themselves, trying to fit some kind of image that is being projected to them, that that's what they should be doing. And it's important that you guys are letting them know, hey, you're the way God made you. That's the whole thing with this whole trans thing going on.
Right.
God made you the way He made you. He made you perfect in that way. And anything that tries to say that you're not enough, or you're the wrong sex, or you're the wrong color of skin, you're the wrong eye color, whatever it is, those are all things that try to destroy you. Because the devil seeks to steal, kill, and destroy. He is one. He has enmity with man. He's always going to be striking our heel. We're always going to be trying to crush him with our foot, right, with our heel. God said that this it's a seed war. If you've not heard of that, the seed of Adam is that enmity with the devil and his dominion, right? And so he's always going to be trying to depress us, to cause us to kill ourselves, to cause us to become debauchous, to cause us to sink to the lowest level of form of animal uh, that they can. And that, if you look at the history of communism, it's a satanic type thing. It's that they want to take and destroy the family. They want to destroy all these things so that they can uh, treat people like slaves. Pretty much, they can just do with them what they want. They can have sex with children. We see that being pushed. We, that the thing, the Sound of Freedom, a movie. I was one of the kickstarters on that. I donated money to help that thing come to the theaters. I guess it was 6 months or a year ago. Whenever they started coming out with that, and I put in money to help that come out because I knew how bad child trafficking was. Because we've had Craig on here several times. Vets for Rescue. Was it VF4? I don't lost
Uh,
my brain. Vets for Child Rescue.
yeah, I can't remember.
VF4. Well, I donate every month to him a lot of money to his organization, and I wanted this to get out there because it's sad what is happening to children all over the world, and especially with what our government's doing, letting these kids come in here and being picked up by who knows what. Uh, these immigrant children coming out of South America and from all over the world and just disappearing. What was it? 85,000 children. They don't know what happened to them.
Right.
They came across our borders. They were shuttled somewhere and they disappeared. That's really alarming to exponential degree that's going on. So try to disconnect yourself from social media. If you're stuck at home and you're invalid or whatever, I understand. And you got no way but make a phone call instead of texting, instead of social media. And I'm I'm just going to have to pull back. I'm just going to have to focus on what's important. And social media is not going to be as important to me, or I'm trying to make it not. It's going to be a struggle because we've been doing it for so long. It's just part of our day. We get up, we just start every day about looking to see what's on social media, see what the news is, pull up the news, see what happened over the night, and that's just destructive to your mental health, destructive to your physical health. All right, show sponsor again. We want to thank For Patriot Supply for sponsoring our show. If you guys want a discount, go using coupon code FRN for Farms Radio Network, our parent group. And we got a few patches and stickers, not much left. We got Subscribe Star account. If you guys like to give monthly and just set up a monthly donation, we appreciate that. We have several guys that do that. Go subscribestar.com /God dash and dash guns. And then you got the next two. Then we got the Armed Citizen of the Week.
So we got also PowerTac lights. You've heard Troy and I talk about um, the lights that they have for hunting, gun lights, AR lights, you name it. PowerTac has a light for you. They got great warranties on them, lifetime warranties. And if you listen to the show, you get 30% off. So use the promo code God and Guns and go out and check our buddies at PowerTac Lights at powertac.com. Also, Crossbreed holsters. Troy just showed you a couple of new holsters he's gotten. And I am hopefully fixing to get me a mini tuck as well. I hope. Um, but if you're looking for a good holster, comfortable holster that you can wear, let's put it this way. Troy and I were talking. I have a Kydex for my little SIG that I carry. It's inside the waistband. It is so uncomfortable. I can't even stand to wear it. It just hurts. Crossbreed does not do that. Crossbreed, you wear that thing all day and never even never even realize you got a gun or
Right.
holster on. So go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Use the promo code G&G, get 10% off for just listening to the show.
Veterans for Child Rescue. I just went look. I was
Veterans
supposed to
for
be on a
Child
conference.
Rescue.
I was supposed to be on a conference call with Craig Thursday, but I had a meeting at the same time I couldn't get free of. But they were going to update us on what was going on.
We need to get him back on the show again.
He's a busy man. He's on
Oh,
big time networks now. He's talking on all kinds of news networks and bigger guys than us. We're little fish, but he's a good guy.
He is a good dude.
Craig Sawyer, Sawman Sawyer.
Sawman.
Let's see. Armistice of the week.
Hey, Armed Citizen of the Week. This week comes to us from Kansas, Oklahoma. And it is an Arkansas man is dead after encountering an armed homeowner in Kansas, Oklahoma, ready and willing to defend his property. On the evening of Tuesday, May 2nd, the 20-year-old suspect was allegedly involved in an incident outside the home in question. After the incident, the man allegedly made his way into the home and got into a physical altercation with the homeowner. The armed resident fired shots at the assailant, killing him in the process. And that comes to us from Arkansas Online, Kansas, Oklahoma, 5/2/23.
Well, good deal.
People never learn, do they?
Yep. I'm sending you over that new contact by email. While you were saying that, I thought I better do it or I'll forget. Armed Citizen is done.
Oh, gotcha.
We're going to wrap this puppy up, put a bow on it, send her on out the door. Send your feedback to Troy at GuideAndGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GuideAndGunsPodcast.com.
Please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/GuideAndGunsPodcast. You can subscribe to us and follow us on YouTube. Hit that notification bell so you'll know whenever we post up something or go live. Also, we are on Instagram, and I'm not doing Wimpkin anymore. We are live on Rumble right now, so if you have a Rumble account, please start using that one because that will be the way we are going to be found if YouTube pulls a plug on us, which could happen anytime, especially with the stuff we talked about tonight.
Any minute. You never know.
Yeah, I got a friend, a whole lot more people following him than me that lost their account. They're down out of the water. They can't do anything. We do have a website. It's not really functional, but it's GuideAndGunsPodcast.com. All right, Doug, until next time, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bible closer.
Good night, everybody. Thank you all for joining us.
Have a good night.
I can't find my button.
It's the button.